We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens.
Think about a time ahead where people look very different, where tech and living things mix to form a new kind of being. A time when what people can do is stretched to the max. This is the future of humans. Join me on a trip across time, looking at the amazing changes that will affect our kind over the next 1,000 years. From gene modification to machine smarts, you won't believe how new technologies will change what being human is. Think about being part of a species that has existed for 6 million years. From living in trees to going to the moon, our story is amazing. But have you ever thought about what started our change from fuzzy forest creatures to smart, technology-using beings? Let's go back in time and discover the secrets of our surprising evolution. From Australopithecus taking its first steps on 2 legs to Homo sapiens embracing the digital age. Prepare to see the most remarkable change in the history of our world. From primal screams to digital dreams, our evolution has been rapid. But as we approach the future, one question lingers. What comes next? What will humanity 2.0 resemble? Will we be enhanced, automated, or something entirely different? The future is unfolding, and we are the co-creators. Let's delve into the depths of discovery, and trust me, what the great minds of science and biology have to reveal is quite shocking.
Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees.
According to Yuval Noah Harari, we may be the last generation of Homo sapiens. In a chilling revelation, he described how artificial intelligence and biotechnology is rapidly pushing us toward a future where humanity as we know it will be unrecognizable, ushering in a new era where we no longer control our own evolution.
In the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds.
Yes, what is coming is not just an evolution of life, but a total redefinition of existence itself, one that will leave us far behind. Gregory Stock, an experienced biologist with a technology background, explained that the new era would see technology being imbibed into everyday life.
These ideas like, increased longevity, like the idea of emerging between humans and machines, and prostheses that would be, very powerful enhancements of one sort or another. All of these sorts of things have moved from being fringe ideas to sort of being culturally embedded, and you can see them in Hollywood in all sorts of films.
His perspective carried the weight of both expertise and foresight.
And we have these entities that are way smarter than we are. What's it going to be like to interact with them?
Gregory Stock reflected on the future with a sense of urgency, saying, "We have these entities that are way smarter than we are. What's it going to be like to interact with them?" He proceeded to opine that this might become the biggest assault or challenge to human experience.
Evolution could be in our hands.
Meanwhile, Joe Hansen, PhD, a biologist and science communicator, best known as the creator and host of It's Okay to Be Smart on PBS Digital Studios, said, "Evolution could be in our hands."
If CRISPR is one day used in embryos to make people better, would we also use it to make better people?
This raises the question. CRISPR administered to blastomeres so that the resulting better humans can be created requires their use for creation of better humans. They think about the possibilities. With CRISPR, the options are staggering. Want a blue-eyed baby? They might also be in a position to encode the change to the OCA2 gene. Want a more muscular baby? They could edit its myostatin gene. No longer a science fiction writer, the power to shape the appearance of their descendant is no more, as digital tools have made this possible. It's a reality that's rapidly approaching.
Well, maybe. If the Y chromosome were to disappear today, there would be no testes, meaning no men, resulting in 0 babies. Meaning in 11 million years, our species might be a whole lot different than it is today.
The Y chromosome, the fragile thread holding humanity's fate. Experts sound the alarm. It's disintegrating before the Y chromosome vanishes, taking masculinity with it. No testis, no men, no babies. Our survival is stretched by a hair hanging by a thread. But there's a twist. Some rodents have lost their Y chromosomes and yet prospered. What's their secret? Nobody knows for sure. What we know is that the course of human history stands on the edge of cataclysmic disruption. Will we evolve or extinct?
Evolutionary biologists have come to realize that sometimes evolution proceeds much faster, and it can actually be observed, especially when the environment changes drastically.
Evolutionary biologist Menno Schilthuysen discusses the effect of urbanization on the evolution of not only other species, but also humans. Menno said, "Evolution's clock is ticking, fast. Environmental change is accelerating at a quicker rate and driving rapid selective change on decadal timescales. We're the catalysts, altering the planet at breakneck speed. Our driven, blind desire to progress tears down ecosystems, disturbs the equilibrium of the system, and rewrites the rules of life."
We are realizing that we're really at a unique event in the history of life on Earth, a completely new ecosystem.
He goes on to add, "For the first time in the history of living on this Earth, we are seeing the coming about of a new ecosystem, which is settling into an Earth environment that is driven by humans for this time. We're not only changing the planet, we're creating an entirely new world, governed by new rules and dynamics. However, we're only now beginning to understand how dramatically this changes the game."
I don't see it that way. I think, at least as far as what I've been looking at, that's the best evidence of future humans.
A leading anthropologist stated, "From all my research, the most convincing evidence of future humans isn't found in theories or speculation. It's in the crafts themselves. They challenge our understanding and exist in a form that is beyond our comprehension, yet undeniably real. Their existence isn't about belief. It's about recognition, compelling us to rethink the very nature of reality. If these crafts are indeed what they appear to be, then our understanding of time, evolution, and existence is far more intricate and much more unsettling than we have ever imagined."
Yeah, some people describe 4 fingers,
Yeah.
right? Like Whitley, I think, said that.
Yeah, and that could be very much an atrophy of our 5th digit. The 5th phalanges just maybe shrinks down. I don't know, it's pretty small.
Whitley Strieber and others have seen creatures with 4 fingers. On the surface, this sounds strange, but what if it tells us something much worse? For instance, what if this isn't merely a mutation but a deliberate alteration of evolution? Our 5th finger may be deliberately cut off. The pinky would reduce, become less effective, and vanish. The transformation might be so subtle that it's occurring without anyone paying attention. If this is the case, then it poses an uncomfortable question to ponder. Are these entities or extraterrestrial travelers something else entirely, possibly futurized versions of ourselves that are remade by something we can't even start to comprehend?
2 eyes, nose, ears, very, very similar structure to ours.
Whitley Strieber's extraterrestrial being, an entity described by hundreds of witnesses, remains at the center of an enigma that won't go away. Over and over, those who've seen it describe the same unnerving specifics: a human-like form, 2 eyes, a nose, ears, a skeleton framework nearly identical to our own. Not merely like ours, nearly identical. The very consistency of these accounts is impossible to ignore. If they were travelers from another star system light years away, shouldn't we be expecting something more alien, something more other? And yet they reflect us in ways that are too coincidental to ignore. This leaves only one unsettling possibility. These creatures are not extraterrestrial beings. They are not aliens, but something much worse. They are us, not from another planet, but from another time, a future humanity, evolved, changed, and now extending back, watching, observing, possibly even influencing. The ramifications are mind-boggling. If they are, in fact, our future selves, then every glimpse, every hushed encounter is not a visit from the unexplained. It's a communication from what we will become.
And they potentially may be human in some form of it. So even with regard to what happened to us since we became bipedal 6 to 8 million years ago.
And yet the hope remains. What if they are human? In some manner we can hardly recognize. What if they are not a wholly different species, but an extension of us, molded by forces beyond our comprehension? Think of our own past. From the instant we first walked upright, became bipedal, our evolution never ceased. Our skulls reformed, our brains grew, our bodies adjusted to novel habitats, novel tools, novel forms of cognition. Who's to say the process didn't carry on, far, far beyond anything we might imagine? If these creatures are a result of that slow, constant evolution, then each meeting, each brief peek into their reality is not a glimpse of something other than us, but a mirror of what we could possibly become. The questions are no longer who they are, but why they're here. Are they merely watching? Are they attempting to warn us? Or are we looking into the face of our own sure destiny? One that has already been lived out and is now extending itself back.
Very soon, we're going to have humanoid robots and other types of robots.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang made a bold and unsettling declaration. AI and robotics are moving at an unstoppable speed, and soon, humanoid robots will no longer be a concept of the future. They will be here, everywhere. Within years, not decades, these machines will knit themselves into every facet of society. Factories, hospitals, homes. No corner of human existence will be untouched. They won't just work with us, they will work beside us, think beside us, and perhaps one day over us. The implications are staggering. When artificial intelligence becomes fleshed out, when it acquires a face, a presence, a near-human independence, how will we respond? Will we welcome them as colleagues or fear them as competitors? And more ominously, will there ever be a point at which we can no longer discern where man leaves off and the machine takes over?
Combination of design time flexibility and runtime determinism. That basically means that these agents can heal themselves.
Consider it. Already, we queue our employees nowadays. We supply context, issue tasks, issue missions, and they follow through. Problem solving, collaborating, recruiting, and soon AI laborers shall as well. They shall scan, strategize, decide, and fit just as well as anyone into bands of humans or machines. Marketing, customer service, logistics, creative industries, no industry will be left unscathed. The boundaries between human and artificial intelligence will dissolve, and soon enough, we might not even take the time to think about the difference. The question is not whether AI workers will be here, but how deeply they will become integrated into the fabric of our everyday lives. And once they are, will we ever be able to go back to doing things without them again? Having witnessed all these interactions, we can safely say that mankind is on the cusp of a revolution unlike any other. The lines between human and artificial intelligence are blurring at an incredible pace, just as the lines between past, present, and future might not be as fixed as we used to think. Humanoid robots and AI workers will soon be deeply integrated into society, not as tools, but as independent collaborators, thinking, learning, and even deciding alongside us. Meanwhile, encounters with uncannily familiar yet alien-like beings pose deep questions. Are they aliens, or are they visions of what we are to become? Future iterations of ourselves, reaching back for reasons we have yet to comprehend? What we used to think of as science fiction is now playing out before our very eyes. Technology no longer just adapts, it remakes the very nature of humanity. Whether through the emergence of AI or the disturbing potential that time itself may not be linear, one thing is sure. The future is not some far horizon. It is already upon us, shaping our world, watching, waiting, and driving us toward a reality more complicated and deeper than we ever thought possible. What are your thoughts about this? Make sure to let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.